Hello, my name is Dan Cornelius, and I'd like to thank you again for visiting my website. Before I begin this Prepress tip, I'd like to point out that even though I talk a lot about Adobe products on my website and I use them on a constant basis, I am not getting a single penny from Adobe to talk about them. So if you happen to be working for them and feel compelled to send me wads of cash, then please, by all means. Okay, with that shameless pandering aside, let's begin this Prepress tip. This is about typesetting in InDesign when you have an Excel spreadsheet and using the data merge automation in InDesign. Getting a spreadsheet from the client makes life a lot easier as far as typesetting is concerned, because you don't have to type anything really if you set up the master template in InDesign properly. So I have here an example of an Excel sheet, and when you receive an Excel sheet from a client, you might need to do some cleanup, like delete all unnecessary columns and rows. And you want to make sure that the first row has the name and the title and the phone, or whatever the title of that information that follows in that column is. For example, row 1 will say name under the A column, and B would be title, and in C it's phone, and D fax, and E I have cell here. Now the address, I'm going to just assume it's constant because I've created a master template, which I'll show you here in a minute. So this is an example of a typical Excel file with all the names and their titles and so on and so forth. Now what you want to do is you want to export this or save as a comma separated value, or a CSV file, and we'll call that employee list CSV. Okay, and just hit OK. Now we're going to go into InDesign. Now I've created here a really simple master template for these business cards, and all the addresses are going to be the same, so that's part of the master template. And again, it's an ideal philosophy to just put everything that's going to be common onto your master template. Just makes life a lot easier. Okay, so now I just have one page, as you can see here. I'm going to go up to my window, automation, data merge. Okay, now with this data merge, I'm going to locate or select data source. Now it's going to try to find that CSV file I just created, and there it is, my employee list CSV, and I hit open. Now you can see this little palette here has been populated with the first row, which was the name, title, phone, fax, and cell. On your template here, and you want to be in the page mode, not in the master mode, you want to open up a text box big enough that's going to fill in all of these requirements, all of these properties. And you do that by simply double clicking on the name first, and you can do this in any order. I'm just going to go ahead and click away. It's phone, now fax, and cell. Now you see that it automatically populates this text box with these items. So now I'm going to do a little formatting. For number 1, I'm going to change this to be centered. I'm going to change that font rather from Times to, let's say Gil Sans. Okay, and we're going to change the point size to let's say 10 point for now. There we go. Now I'm going to put the title underneath the name, and I'm going to put the phone, fax on one line, the cell on a separate line, and I want a little bit of separation between the name and the title. I want the name to be a tiny bit bigger, so I'm going to choose a 12 point size for that. And let's say the client wanted this name to be in a blue, so let's change that color. Let's just assign it this swatch blue here, and the rest of this is going to be in black. So here are the items that are going to be populated once we merge the data. The name and the title we don't need to really fool around with. Now, if you wanted to add any extra information, like put P for phone and a space, and maybe separate that with a bullet point and another space, and then put an F here with a colon and a space for fax, and down here I'm going to put C and a space for cell. Okay, so these items here, this PFC, are going to remain constant once this file gets populated with your data from the CSV file. Now you will have to go back and delete any name or any cell number that does not belong, and you'll see that in a minute. Okay, so now I have the basic parameters set up, I'm ready to merge my data. So I go to Create Merge Document. This window here is basically asks how many records do you want to import, and I'm going to say all records, which is 1 to 26, or I could do 5 to 20, whatever the client requests. But in this case, I'm just going to say all of them, and then I hit OK, and I just sit back and let InDesign do all the work for me. Now this really is helpful because I don't have to typeset each name or copy and paste them out of the CSV file, and which would take forever. Okay, so now you see in my pages here, it is automatically populated 26 pages starting with the first name, and let's go down the list here and you see how they change. Now some of the names I noticed on the Excel file did not have a cell number, so naturally you'll have to go in there and you want to delete that C in there. Now, there you go, which is a lot faster than actually typing out the name. Now this becomes really useful in times when you have maybe 50 to 100 names. I hope this little tip will make your life a lot easier. So thank you again for watching, and take care.